I feel like this could be the shortest review ever just by saying this movie's Meet the Parents meets Angry Birds. Done. Rio 2. So in Rio 2, the blue bird voiced by Lex Luthor is married and he has kids. And they're like, we're the last blue birds of our kind on the planet, so we gotta be really careful. However, they get wind that there might be other really cool blue birds like them in Brazil. So they're like, all right, let's go. So they go down to Brazil and there are more birds down there and they're trying to mingle, but Lex Luthor, it's Jesse Eisenberg. I don't want to confuse anybody, but you know, the main bird, he's voiced by Jesse Eisenberg. He's a city bird, so he's trying to fit in, you know, it's that whole thing. Then deforestation is happening, so now they have to deal with that. And a bunch of other things that, not gonna lie, they don't always fit in this movie. That's really what I can say about it. There are a few things in this movie, quite a few things where you're like, that doesn't really fit. Example, the human chick, you know, the nice one who's in the first Rio, she's in this movie. What point and purpose does she serve? Not much of anything except to be in Rio 2 because she was in Rio 1. She's kind of like Ali Larder in every season of Heroes. You look at her and you're like, what point do you serve? See what I mean? It gets kind of confusing. You get mixed signals from this movie. From characters that are in this movie that don't need to be in this movie, to musical sequences. There are a few musical sequences in this movie. At first, there are no musical sequences. It doesn't set itself up as a musical. Then the first musical sequence hits, you're like, oh, it's a musical. All right, I wasn't prepared for that. You know the Disney movies like The Lion King, Aladdin, just right out the gate, there's a musical number to let you know you're in a musical. This movie, that doesn't happen. So when the first one comes on, you're like, you're just singing to yourself, but it's not a musical. Is it? A few of the musical numbers, they're really cool, visually speaking. They look like birds doing the kaleidoscope thing. It looks neat, that's great. Do I remember a song in this movie? Well, I do remember one. There's a take on the song I Will Survive. I remember that one because I actually know the song. And it's done by, again, a character from the last movie that they shoehorned into this movie because, well, he had to be because he was in the last movie. Who doesn't really serve a point and purpose to this movie. Ironically, he was my favorite character in this movie. Maybe that's the point of having him in here because there had to be a character that was cool. He's this prima donna who just wants a stage. He wants an audience. He wants to be evil. He wants to be dramatic. He cracked me up. I was like, that is a great villain. I like villains like him. If only he was the villain in the movie. I say he's not because he doesn't really do much. And that's the thing a sequel's got to do, man. If it's gonna keep a character in the second movie that was in the first movie, make them fit. And if they can't fit, have the balls to cut him from the movie. I always respect movies that are like, I can't make it fit, so he's gone. This movie didn't do that, so it completely loses points because it compromises the overall experience because you're left going, what was the point of these characters? Yeah, there were some fun jokes in the movie. I was watching it and I was like, this movie, in a word, is functional. It's functional in the sense that if you're a parent and you have kids or you're a babysitter and you're watching kids and you're like, I want to catch Captain America Winter Soldier again. Hey, go watch Rio, kids. And the kids will have a good time watching Rio too. That's fine. But if you're an adult, you're going to be like, nothing's really gripping me. By the end of the movie, I was like, well, that was the movie. That was Rio 2, I guess. I have the urge to play Angry Birds now. Maybe that's why Rio 2 happened. So it had some fun musical numbers, a couple of memorable characters, and it had some really forgettable musical numbers and really forgettable characters. Kids will love it. Adults will be like, well, you know, my kids liked it. As an adult, speaking for adults, I'm just gonna say, Rio 2's all right, but you're not gonna remember it in T-minus a couple days. Yep, already forgot. All right, so Rio 2, have you seen it? What did you think about it? More importantly, what did your kids think about it? It was meant for them. Whatever you or they thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.